What is up, YouTube? It's A&D Anime Reactions. This is Daquan.
And I'm Alexander.
And today we're watching Season 2, Episode 5 of My Happy Marriage. Almost slipped up there. Hopefully this time we'll go without a hitch. Perfect recording. No technical issues. My cursed marriage has been giving me a headache. Probably would have been upset or probably entertained by what was happening beforehand when we tried to do this. But hopefully this time it runs without a hitch. We have not seen the episode because of so many other tech issues. But hopefully that goes away. Now let's hang out, let's watch the episode and see what's going on with Usui, this weirdo.
Please work. Aw, her poor hands.
Work, 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 work. See how she works, work, 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 work.
By the way, did you see? That Jinochi girl was in the kitchenette cleaning.
Yeah, if she'd just keep to modest things like that, I'd find her so much more attractive.
Wow.
Ouch. Like her one bit. That female doesn't know her place.
Red pill.
Took you down quite handily.
Ironic, huh?
I know.
Why are we the ones helping her pass time until she gets married? It's such a pain. It's ridiculous.
Excuse me. May I have a word with you?
Oh.
I've heard that your unit operates based on merit, and that women can participate if their capabilities are deemed acceptable. Is this not the case? If you speak badly of someone like that, you're not united, and does that not diminish the strength of your unit?
Kuz will kick your butt if you act sideways.
For the sake of our fight, we do not need to hear opinions from someone who doesn't know anything. Relax. Women have no stamina, no muscular strength.
Huh.
Do you expect females to fight with us when that's the case?
Yes.
Women should keep to the places where they belong.
If you are so determined to prove she has no skills, then you will need to best her in a match before you can claim that.
Truth.
This reminds me of Mulan a little bit.
Wait for it.
Somehow I'll make a man. Uh-oh. Kudo's about to kick your butt.
Oh.
Friend.
Oh, Kaoruko.
Now smile and punch him in the face.
That'd be funny.
You're using your fist to salute this Miyo.
Bruh, she just saved your life. If Kudo found out you hit his...
He would be fried crispy.
Yeah, I let her say wife and I keep remembering she's not married yet. But still. He'd be fried, crispy, and lightened up.
Worst temper. I'm sorry. In our unit, there's only a few like him.
Right.
Then kick them out.
Goodness sake. It's so frustrating.
That's the translation.
Why don't we clean the water station later? Come with me this way.
Oh. Aw.
Wow, sweet ones! Maybe
Looks
early,
delicious.
but why don't we take a little break? I can make us some tea.
That's in Miyo.
Go ahead and help yourself.
Oh, they look nice.
This is delicious.
I wonder where we can get red sweet buns.
Oh, I didn't.
Probably
I
Wegmans.
made them myself.
Why would you expect them to be at Wegmans?
What?
Really nothing in the
Why would you
world
expect them to be at
can do.
Wegmans?
That's not the case at all.
Because they have a Japanese section?
I'm so very happy
They
that
do?
you're enjoying
They do.
I've never had sweets in the quarters before.
I would have expected H Mark before Wegmans.
it. And that is why
I've never been there before.
this will have to be a secret between
Asian market.
Kaoruko.
I figured that. I just never been there before.
That's where all the Asians shop.
Do I look Asian to you?
Cool.
Me.
You were so cute, Miyo.
You like Asian stuff, so I figured you'll go where all the Asian shop.
I know, but okay, fair enough.
It's like saying that, oh, I want Jamaican food, but I won't go to a Caribbean mart.
That's true.
I hope that this makes Kaoruko feel better, even if it's just a little.
Oh, she's smiling awfully hard.
Yeah, working, Miyo. Oh, good for you. Auto skipped opening.
Yes.
My.
You were like, I'm so confused.
Nice spot.
Who are you?
Fancy running into you here.
Sleepy guy. He needs some coffee.
Not well. I'm in no mood for your foolishness. I am clearly visiting my subordinate here. Oh, is that so? And I suppose then that this young lady here is the one rumored to be your fiancée.
You're right.
It's nice to meet you, sir. My name is Miyo Saimori.
Nice to meet you. I'm yapped. I'm one of the physicians.
Not be able to say that.
Pleasure's all mine.
Jakuju. Jakuju.
His hands are huge.
I see that you've been working hard on your chores outside in the cold. Please do make sure that you take care of yourself.
You heard it from a doctor. That means you have to follow it.
Where are you?
If only.
Sir is asking for you.
Goodness me, I'll need a nap after this.
Another goodness. I wonder what word they're using in Japanese.
You see over there is my maternal relative. He is also a renowned healer. There's no doubt he's skilled, but his personality isn't forever.
His personality is fine. You realize who he's related to.
Oh!
That's it. Healing touch.
That's pretty cool.
Commander! You came to visit me. Sweet to meet you as well.
Which means you can slap people to heal them.
That's like the how not to be a healer.
To be defensive.
Pretty much.
Significant trouble to visit it.
Mr. Goto, how are you recovering? Are you feeling well?
Those scoundrels with the gifted communion really did a number on me, I have to say. I am feeling pretty ashamed of myself. But hold on
I mean,
to
you
your-
survived from what should be a bomb.
But better believe I'll round up every last one of them.
We hear you, tough guy. Why don't you give it a rest?
Why, I oughta. Hey, Commander?
Deep in thought.
Lord Kudo.
Oh, I forgot something I need to speak with Unan about. I'll return shortly.
Don't run away.
He's not running, he's walking.
That was odd. What's with him? I know why. He must be feeling responsible for my injury.
Huh?
If I'm right, seeing me reminded him of a few things that happened in the past.
Huh?
What do you mean by that?
Thank you, Miyo.
Concerns my father and the commander. Many years ago now, my father was the commander of this unit. At the time, he was serving as a subordinate to Mr. Kudo, our current commander's father. We took a shine to Commander Kyoka Kudo. My father recognized Lord Kudo's supernatural abilities early on and did his best to persuade the now commander to enlist in the unit.
Oh.
I believe that those who have power have a duty to improve the world using what they've been given.
So Spider-Man.
Kyoka,
You don't have to be Spider-Man to have power.
I know. But that is a Spider-Man line.
It's never been something that I desired for myself.
I think it was more noble.
Year after year,
Uncle Ben.
facilities weakened.
Oh, your boat is weakened?
Someone's
That's interesting.
face.
Does that mean it's like a muscle? If you don't use it, it atrophies?
Good question.
After that, I'm on a mission.
Those who are given power have a duty.
That's not the worst thing for a noble to internalize.
Brought up some painful memories.
I'm sorry. I don't think it was my place to ask you something like that.
Don't be silly. After all, you are the
Did she even
commander.
ask, or he just offered?
You want to know more about his life, Miyo?
Do you honestly think so?
Yes?
I think he would be happy if you went to him directly and asked about it.
Ask him directly.
You know what else? He also owes owes you an explanation about Jinochi, too.
About Kaoruko?
It's a little too late for that, Goto. If you're concerned for her, give her the respect of saying it clearly. Tatsuichi! Kaoruko Jinochi was a former candidate to be the fiancé of Mr. Kudo.
Oh.
Oh, the plot thickens.
It's true. I guess it's for the best. I knew I never deserved to be your friend.
No.
I truly never wanted to hurt you.
Oh.
Well, at least you know she's not a trash human being like all the other women have been so far.
Kaoruko was almost engaged.
Don't take this the wrong way. You can still be friends with her.
This just shows how men and women internalize situations so differently.
Mm-hmm. It makes them interesting.
Yeah.
Kaoruko Jinochi was a former candidate to be the fiancé of Mr. Kudo.
Kaoruko was
Where are my candidates to be my fiance?
But the arrangement did not
You have them. You've just been ignoring them.
But even still,
I don't consider those to be candidates.
If they're interested in you, they're candidates.
I don't know about that. I'm like Kudo's mother.
that means
You want to be like the bitch?
In this case, yes. You're not worthy.
Seeing Goto
Burn the house down.
I still won't burn the house. I am not a pyromaniac today.
so shaken.
Put me in Avatar: The Last Airbender, I will be a pyromaniac.
You would be a firebender, wouldn't you?
I absolutely would be.
This saber is something Goto's father left to me. Those who are given power have a duty to improve the world using what they've been given. But back then, I was against my family at the time, so I didn't stop to understand his meaning. And due to that, I lost someone very important to me.
Lord Kudo.
Talking about myself is not something I'm skilled in. I regret that I made
I don't think most people are very skilled at talking about themselves.
There are so many more things about you that I'd like
If they were, interviewing them would be easier.
If I knew more about what's happened in your life, would that bother you?
Not at all. There's not a thing that I don't want you to know.
Oh.
I think she struggles understanding the reason why most people really get into relationships, especially in a world that has a lot of arranged marriages. Where, like, in relationships in general, you really start forming them because you want to know more about those people. And it's foreign for me, like, to think about a person thinking about a relationship in that way. And then I just realized that her entire marriage was arranged. The guy she really wanted was given to her sister,
Mm-hmm.
and it happened to be a blessing in disguise.
Did she even want him?
I think she did because at that point in her life, that was the only person who was nice to her. And so she considered that kindness as at least a reprieve from her everyday life.
Okay, but was that romance or was that just I like him?
I think it was, he's the only person who's nice to me.
Mhm.
I would prefer to be around that than being around this.
Yeah. Because she has absolutely no sense what a relationship should be it friendship, be it romance, be it anything. Because
Yeah, so she's learning all that at once.
Mhm.
As you can see with how she's dealing with Karuka. But
Kyoka.
Kyoka. No, that's Kyoka's him. The Karuka is the girl who's
Oh, what's it?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot her own name.
I
again.
met her actual friend. Yeah, but I think you're seeing her learn about these relationship dynamics, and it just dawned on me the fact that, like, it's not going to be first nature to think about in an arranged marriage that the person you're being paired with wants you to know about their lives, wants you to interact
Yeah.
with them in a
Mhm.
way where, because it's not like I'm marrying because of love. In this case, she genuinely likes Kudo and loves Kyoka, but she doesn't know how to express that, what that really means, what that looks like.
Mhm.
And then let alone take it to the next step with intimacy, where she had a kiss and her brain was so frazzled she couldn't sleep overnight. So I think it's an interesting way of thinking about her engagement with the world, where she has to learn romance
Mhm.
and then also basic friendship at the same exact time. So I thought it was just interesting because it's like that seems like second nature, where it's like, oh, there's nothing I don't want you to know about me, but I'm like, that does make sense that she has to ask that question because of one, what she went through, and also the societal norms at that time.
Yeah. And how even beyond that, her own socialization in general is just so like low.
Yeah, super low. And so I'm wondering if they want to try to resolve in this episode her going back to her friend, because it wasn't her fault in this case. I think she's thinking in her head, but she wasn't even given a chance to address that just because she overheard them talking about
Yeah.
him.
So far, no one's at fault here. Like,
Yeah. So it's just interesting because I'm like, this world seems very sterile. Because even if you think about like Miyo's stepmother and her father, their relationship didn't really seem loving. It was just like, it was convenient to give birth to the younger sister who had spirit sight. It wasn't like, oh, I picked her because she's lovely, or the father said, oh, my new wife can do no wrong. He was just like, I got married because I needed to. I needed someone who actually has actual power so that we can make sure that our house still has like higher status in society.
and specifically, he never seemed to actually care about his daughter. He just didn't care that his daughter and wife
Yeah.
abused his other daughter.
Yeah, so it was just like he was just detached. It was just something that he had to do. And it's interesting because like Kyoko's family, the Kudo family, has a complete opposite, where even though the mother is
Horrible.
trash, the dad isn't trash, and he truly, genuinely has a relationship where you can tell he likes her despite her being trash, and he blames himself for the way she is.
Yeah.
And he can get her intent even though he knows that she has basically like an RBF. Resting bee face.
Oh.
So that's just her personality as well. So like
And also, she's clearly doing it out of her genuine
yeah,
best
genuine
case.
care for the Kudo family. So she's thinking that she carries that burden where she's like, there's a societal expectation of how our family should be carried. I'm marrying into this, and therefore I'm taking it with great responsibility and humility, and with seriousness that this calling requires.
I do wonder, though, can she maybe not rationalize that Mia would want to marry into him for non-societal reasons?
No, because that's not the norm.
I know, that's why I'm thinking that maybe that's also part of it. Like,
Yeah.
she cannot seem to rationalize that this person who's doing it for society reasons and is failing society reasons, that's probably why she's partially just so frustrated with her. Like,
That's true, but also you have to think about the fact that the father was the one who set this up too.
yeah.
The father was who approached Saimori and said that this right here should happen. So I guess she's also second guessing, I guess, her husband's judgment for such a homely girl. But I think the more she gets to know. Well, you already saw that she was in her own cold way. That she's like, once you make her less annoying, I'll tolerate her more here at the house. I think she needs a little bit more confidence to deal with what we stand for.
She's also kind of a good example of a good tsundere. Like, it makes sense why she is so hostile. Like,
Yeah,
it's a non-romantic version of like, no.
yeah, that's true. So I think it's giving me a lot of thoughts, especially now because I'm thinking about relationships a lot more in my life. So I'm just like, this is interesting looking at it from this space where arranged marriages are a thing. You're seeing all these sterile environments. It's even hard to see like normal friendships too, because I think Kudo also struggles with that because like, remember season 1 where he brought one of his subordinates there to celebrate with Miyo, and they got drunk, and Kudo was still kind of uptight. It was kind of like upset that the guy was like, "Oh, Miyo, so cute," and like it's like a normal joking thing, but he took it as, "You trying to push up on my woman."
If anything, it means he's that friend that's subordinate is just that important because like it's someone that will like force him to almost like
Yeah,
show out. It's like,
yeah.
I don't think they'll be real friends, but I can imagine he'll just be positively like viewed. Like,
it'll soften him to everyone outside of Miyo, which I think is important. I think a person needs balance. There's a time and place for seriousness, especially for the position that he holds now because he's a commander in the military, which seems to be very important. His family holds a societal importance. They hold great power. Him and himself physically just has a bunch of powers. He's like an avatar at this point. With his lightning, fire, shield, which is in my mind I think about almost like air, telekinesis, ice.
I do wonder though, because as we first found out in the original series, we only learn about grotesqueries at the very end of it. So like
Mhm.
their whole thing is like grotesqueries don't seem to be that common in the society. Yet they seem to hold such an importance. Like
I don't know. It's not common in society. I think most people is out of sight, out of mind,
yeah,
and so I think they give a different a feel for the mysticalness of the world, where there's lots of things and disasters that happen, and only a few people know why those disasters happen. So I'm guessing it's like, for example, say if there was a plague that was running through the country, people might think, "Oh my goodness, this is bad luck. This is the gods punishing us," but they know that they can see the grotesqueries actually attacking the human condition, and they're fighting those different things, stopping these natural disasters in a sense.
it also has shown there's been no kami so far with no shrines.
Yeah. So I think in this case, there's no like. Well, I think there's a level of mysticism there, but it's just not explored, which is
Or even
I think it's fine
referenced.
because it's not referenced either. But I think with everything else they're pulling with society, they wouldn't have time to flesh it out. And I guess it's better just not to mention it because from even when we watched Black Clover, it annoyed you that there was a church, there's a priest, there's mention of demons, and yet there's no like explanation of what their faith and what the reality is and how that ties into things. So
And I'm wondering, would I be more annoyed if they mentioned it or they... But then again, Black Clover is very much a shonen show, which doesn't take its world building. But that's not true. World building makes sense to what they care about, but there's just enough about it that it aggravates me. But this setting is taking itself more seriously. It's taking the whole ramifications thing more seriously. So
yeah,
I could almost guess that. I feel like if they did introduce temples or stuff, they would just. I feel they would do it with a bit more respect. Like it'd be something that is there, and I wouldn't.
I would agree, but I think with the timing, how much they're trying to flesh everything else out, I don't know if they have the timing space per episode unless you decide to make the episodes just longer.
Yeah,
To
or
really build out
even
that
maybe. I'm more surprised that there hasn't been a single instance of some sort of event happening around the temple. Like because
Yeah.
if they're just in the world, like realistically, statistically, at least one episode should probably include a temple.
That's true. Because
Or
we
even
don't
just-
have we don't have shrine maidens or priests and things like that. You would imagine that if a grotesquerie becomes overly powerful and it's like super evil, you'd have someone try to like exercise it. Or
Yeah,
something
and
like
also-
that compared to just like battling it.
In Japan, it's interesting because it has this sort of like synchronistic relationship between its native Shintoism and Buddhism, which came into it like from China. So, and this is also a supernatural thing. So you would imagine that it probably. I wouldn't be surprised if it's almost like a third thing that
Yeah.
came in,
Yeah.
or if it was sort of like blended into the native Shinto, because there hasn't been any mention of like kegare or corruption, but that would be like a good like next step because
Yeah.
the term grotesquerie it implies something unclean,
Yeah.
almost.
And when they draw them, they seem unclean, like unclean
Yeah.
spirits. So there's that overlap there.
Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't happen, it's fine. But just that's my first thought.
Yeah.
But no, so far there's been no problem. It's just that I just noticed it.
It's just odd that it's not like you're used to seeing that motif pop up and it hasn't popped up yet in a space where it clearly could with the building blocks that are being presented to us so far.
And like with like very little effort. Like
Yeah.
literally just had them walk by a shrine one time. If they did that, I was like, okay, we know shrines exist. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, especially since the cities now, like when we think about when they went shopping for their date, the city was very Western and European looking.
Yeah.
It had paved roads, very like large stone buildings, shops and malls. And even when they were out in the Kudo residence, where they're out in the rural areas, there were no shrines there either.
We would almost think there would be a church then, because with the missionaries, right? Like if it's that Western,
Yeah.
you would think there'd be at least one church trying to convert the people. Well, obviously it isn't relevant, but just religion is such a huge thing in the world that you would think it would show up.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless this like explicitly, it isn't actually Japan. It just looks like Japan, which isn't
That's also true. 'Cause they
which
just-
isn't impossible.
Yeah, it's just 'cause they've never mentioned the name of the country.
I feel like we're meant to think it's Japan because it's so Japanese with all the Western influences, and then that was a thing that happened. Like the West forced them to open up.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, usually because even when I watch them in the isekai episodes, the first thing they learn is like, oh yeah, I'm in the land of blah blah blah, so I know I need to watch out for X, Y, and Z. Oh wait, this is the king of this world of this kingdom, okay. and it usually gets you your surroundings. They never mention their country name, so I think it's best to assume that it's Japan.
Have you noticed it's always like there's isekai, Western, and then there's inexplicably a Japanese copy somewhere else in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's either called Yamato or something else, which
Yeah.
I do wonder about that. Like, imagine if you called. Wait. No, it's fine. I think it's fine. Because I was trying to think, is there an older version of America that we could call, and would that be weird to us? Like, maybe if we called it like the 13 colonies, like we have.
Yeah.
I feel like we would almost give that a pass because it's different enough from the U.S. right now that it doesn't seem like it's the same thing.
That's
So I wonder if it'd
true.
be similar to them, like the older forms of address of Japan. Like, would there also be enough distance between them? I can see that happening.
I feel like that was the heydays of comics like Marvel, where they had like Captain America, Superman, and things like that, where they're very much trying to push through American ideals, strength, bulldozing your way through any problems. Because like that's what we became a superpower for. We basically monopolized the economies, and then also said that if you step out of line, we blow you up. And that kind of like how our superheroes were. It's like you can't beat us. Well, if you get mad, we'll just punch you harder. It's the Goku approach, and stamp red, white, and blue on it. So, I think we take those like we take those sentiments and like ideologies of our country and of our people, and try to push them forward. I think it's fallen out of favor because people are now against like a show of force, and that's been a very big identity for American society. Where even like you think about the working culture here is where it's like you grind and you hustle until you get to the top. You brute force it to the top, and even with like consumption, we brute force consumption. You get as much as you possibly can in a short amount of time as possible. But yeah, when we have shows, I don't think we would always have like a place that's U.S. based, but we have at least singular people. Because I think the U.S. is one of those things where we're not ethically homogenous. So therefore, you have to have a person that encapsulates the ideals versus an actual land that encapsulates that, which is a little bit different. Where like Asian cultures tend to have that ethnic homogeneity that kind of makes them think of themselves as like, oh, my ancient people, my people.
We need an isekai where they go to America, not fantasy America, just America.
Culture shock. You're like, what? I bring no shame to my family. I bring shame to my family every day. Now watch me work.
Isekai where it was just America.
Yes. With 3 Ks.
I'm tempted to do that now, just because it'd be funny.
Oh, goodness gracious.
With the hard R too.
Canceled. Go straight to jail. Don't go past go. Don't collect $200.
America.
This is actually a really good scene. This hair looks really good.
Angular hair though.
Yes.
Kaoruko. I heard that she was one of your marriage candidates. I would like to know if you and
Oh, that's the angle.
Hmm.
Why would you think that, Miyo?
Miss Kaoruko is a kind person.
Oh, I can see it.
Beautiful. And then she
I'll say it clearly. The only fiancé that I have ever accepted is you, Miyo. That ends now.
She's so tiny.
She is nothing
Or
more than
Kudo is just huge, because his sister's huge too.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I am pretty sure he has to be at least partially Western.
I do.
But on what side though?
His dad's pretty big too, though. He
Well,
looks just like his dad.
but they're both blonde.
I'll try to be more open
Yeah.
with you from now on. To help you keep your mind at ease as much as possible.
I
Look at him
mean,
being
I
considerate.
like that very much.
it wouldn't be possible if they both have Western blood on both their sides.
Perhaps.
Especially if she was.
I wonder if I need a Tootsie Roll shaped pillow. I'll sleep better at night.
Why would a Tootsie Roll be relevant?
Because she was laying with a Tootsie Roll shaped pillow.
I know, but why would that be relevant to you?
It looks comfortable, so I'm wondering if that will be like the good head placement. Will I sleep really good? So I said I might just need a Tootsie Roll shaped pillow versus the pillow shape I have now.
You know what? Buy it. Tell me how it happens.
I will. But yeah, I just saw her sleeping, resting so sound. I'm like, maybe I need a Tootsie Roll shaped pillow.
Research log now.
Yes, logging. First night sleeping with a Tootsie Roll shaped pillow. I needed to add an extra one where the pillow went to my neck, and I had the other one under my head.
We're making a spreadsheet.
I can do that. Andreas can help out. Andreas is really good at kind of representing the data. You should have seen how he broke down his week in terms of his time spent with different things. It was a little bit too much, but I was like, this is fascinating. It's more fascinating than it should be.
This is Andreas.
Yes. She's in her dream again. And I can see a reflection of her. Ooh. That made me jump a little bit.
Glass. Who are you?
The dude was about to get beat by Kudo if he touched me.
Oh, there he is.
Usui!
Ooh! That was surprising.
So it doesn't go into the real world. That's interesting.
But to show her bleeding like that, that's surprising.
Everyone has bangs in this show.
Kaoruko, good morning.
Bangs.
Oh, this timing's great. I went to Mr. Godo's infirmary room yesterday, and I bought some dumplings on the way back. Will you have some with me? I can get some tea started.
I'm sorry. I can't eat with you.
What?
It's not something that I'm qualified to do.
What does that mean?
Yesterday, I actually went to visit Mr. Godo too. And I happened over here
You learning.
At least she's honest.
Yep.
that I was once the commander's fiancé to be.
Kettle.
I see. But if you were there, then you should have come in.
I couldn't have done that. And it's because I really was in love
Oh.
with the commander.
Now this gets interesting.
My feelings. It was completely one-sided.
I wonder what does she mean by in love? Because if she was in love with him, does it mean that she spent time with him and knows how he is?
No, literally, remember, she said it's one-sided, so it's like...
Well, she said it was one-sided, but that doesn't mean that she knows who he is. Because my biggest issue is with most society, like, I don't agree with how people define love in general. So all my friends who got married, like when girl Alex got married, I sent her one of these sermons that I listened to that I thought define love the best way possible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in falling in love or falling out of love. I don't believe in familial love versus romantic love. I believe in romance, but I don't believe that romance equates to love. So the best definition I ever heard of love was the fact that love is a choice accompanied by emotion that requires action on behalf of its object.
Mm-hmm.
So if you break it down to those three parts, that means you can't trip and fall into love. You can't love a person you've never met, talked to, or spent time with. So therefore, if there's a person out there in a random part in the world that you've never met, don't know about, have no concept of, you can't logically fall in love with that person because you even know they exist.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing is that love itself is not an emotion, but it's definitely accompanied by emotion.
Mm-hmm.
If a loved one that you have, that you hold dear, hurts, you tend to hurt too.
Mm-hmm.
When they're excited and they're succeeding, you want to share and you're excited too. When someone hurts them, you may get angry on their behalf. It's accompanied by emotion, but it's definitely not emotion in of itself. This is why loved ones can hurt you deeply because you care about them so much. The things they do have emotional weight. And the third thing on top of that is that it requires action on behalf of the object. A person that you love, you're not going to intentionally want to hurt. A person that you love, you're going to go through hell and high water to make sure that whatever you can do is possible, you're going to do to try to either make them happy or if they're sick, make them better. And so this is like the parameters I have set around love. Most people just says that, oh, I love this person because I have butterflies in my belly. I'm like, you may be nervous, you may be excited, you may have this lust or infatuation, but that's definitely very different than love. Those things are more temporal, and they come and change with the way that people look, how people act, how people treat you. You can love a person, say for example, you can love your kids, and your kids treat you like trash. But if a person that you're infatuated with eventually treats you like trash, you might say, I don't really like that. They're kind of becoming ugly because now those ugly actions are making them look ugly to me. So that's why I'm like, when she says she loved him and it was one-sided, I'm wondering if it's that, oh, he's really nice looking, he's from a great family, he's super powerful, he seems very serious, he's very earnest, that you're like loving the qualities of him versus like making a choice saying that, oh, I'm in love with him and he just does not love me back because he hasn't chosen anyone besides choosing Miyo. That's what I'm trying to think of through and parse through in my mind. What does she really mean by, oh, I'm in love with him, I loved him? Did she actually spend time with him? Did you figure out that she loved him, or she just loved the idea that when someone had suggested that to be her fiance, that she wasn't mad at the arrangement?
Well, she is his subordinate, so I wouldn't be surprised if she spent a significant amount of time around him.
Well, apparently she wasn't in this force long because she's the only woman there, right? So it's not like it's a very long-standing thing. It seems to be a very recent development.
I wonder how recent her assignment was then. Was she assigned while she was his subordinate, or was she assigned before then?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think about. Because I think they mentioned it when we first introduced her, where she's been around for 3 years, maybe.
Because I'm reading this right now. It says when I was assigned to the Imperial City again. So it's almost like she was assigned to him. They got engaged, and then she was assigned away. Want to go back a second?
Yeah, let's go back a second.
With the commander. I never told him my feelings, so it was completely one-sided. When I was assigned to the Imperial City again, I was miserable. Returning to a place with a man I once loved and with people who don't think well of me. But then, I met you, Miyo. I did feel uneasy at first.
Wait, are they in the Imperial City right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So
apparently they were connected in the past, but they haven't been together that long though. For this, I think it's only been a few months that Miyo and Kuro's been together. It hasn't been a whole year.
I'm thinking about the time she's Wait, in what regard are you talking about?
I'm just trying to get the timeline in place. So apparently, they, like you said, they knew each other before. They were engaged, and then she was, like you said, she was sent away. And now she was recently brought back. But Miyo's and Kuro's engagement has only been like a few months, I think. I can imagine being engaged for an entire year. Not in this society.
That is you. But
I don't think that's common for this society.
I wonder when they're going to get married then.
Depends on how much time is passing in each of these episodes. Realistically, it may feel like for a lot forever for us, but just like back in Dragon Ball Z, you can be screaming for a whole 15 minutes of the episode, and it's only been 3 seconds in the show. So they hyper slowed it down for us.
Yelling is a free action.
Yes. That's easy to animate, right? But yeah, so I'm trying to get the timeline down in terms of like, were they together for years? Were they together for months? That's how she had to know him, working with him. So yeah, so I guess it is coming to that idea that she worked with him enough that she loved him.
Probably not to the same extent that Miyo has learned about him, but
yeah,
he definitely because even immediately we can tell he had admirable qualities to him.
Yeah.
He didn't like women that much, but he still had qualities.
I don't know if he didn't like women. I don't think he trusted women because he equated them to his mother.
Oh, that's where that comes from. I didn't.
But the father mentioned that, I think, one of the episodes where we had the audio issues, that he was like, after dealing with his mother is what made him have women issues. I think one of the maids said that, not his father. One of the maids said it.
I can definitely see that.
Yes. And so it's weird that she gave him women issues, but he's so much like her. Until he met Miyo, where it started melting some of that ice.
I mean, you tend to inherit stuff from your family and their behavioral traits if that's all you know. Like, you tend to mirror traits, even if you don't necessarily agree with them.
But he could have been more like his father, like his sister's, like a female version of the father.
Mm-hmm. I guess maybe that had to do with just who you spent more time around. Like, possibly the father was working, so the mother was the one who did it.
Well, then why wasn't the sister more like the mother too, then?
I do not know.
Because they both have been around the mother around the same amount of time.
Have they? Isn't she older?
Yeah.
That would make it even worse. Huh. You're right, I have no idea. Why, Hazuki? Why were you spared?
Well, at least she was great. She was able to help out Miyo quite a bit. So at least she was good for that reason.
Now, show up again.
Yeah.
We need more non-trash women in this show.
Well, we're trying to get this relationship, this friendship working, so we'll see how they resolve it.
But I'd like to see her again anyway.
True. Sucks that she had to get a divorce, but
at least it was amicable.
Yeah. And of course,
it seems the video is protesting how long our tangent was.
But it was working really great, so I'm not too mad. It'll probably reset itself. Boom. There we go. We're almost frozen in anyway, so it's looking pretty good.
Yep. Come on, load. Come on, load.
Yeah, I was doing really, really good. It was not buffering. It was just running right along. And now it wants to give us issues.
Issues and tissues.
Yeah, the internet's looking great too, so it's really just a website. Let's go to the backup. Boop.
Backup?
Yeah. Because we're literally just getting to the good part. Well, not the good part. Everything's been super interesting.
Yeah.
For our tangents. People's like, what? We're getting love advice on from an anime reaction? I never thought about love like that.
I mean, you do have a very unique perspective on it.
Well, I wouldn't say it's unique. I would say that's probably what should be the prototypical Christian definition of love.
But most people do not share that, so by definition, that's unique.
I don't think most people... most people don't share because of cultural indoctrination.
Mm-hmm.
I think because you're so used to having it described like, oh, this is why we do Valentine's Day, to show your Valentine that you love them. I'm like, that's not really showing them that you love them. That's just not what we call it, monetizing your feelings for a person. That's not.
I believe it's also a means of showing affection, though.
There's a means to show affection, but affection and love are two different things. Affection can be an offshoot of love. And you can show affection to people that you don't love, especially when you want to manipulate them into doing things you want them to do. So affection can be divorced from love.
But I think it can also be entwined with it, if that's your intent.
Yeah, it definitely can be intertwined. I think it's far easier to be affectionate with someone that you love. Mm-hmm. But women especially can misuse and abuse affection to manipulate people. Men can do it too, but I think women is probably much better at it. With taking affection and manipulating it to get what they want.
Cultural practice and lessons.
Well, Lefty boys do the same thing. That's how people.
I know, but I think at least in Western culture, it's more women are more trained for that. Like,
I think it's even outside of Western culture.
Hmm.
I think femininity in general is just plays better to affection, because affection is much softer. It's much more embracing. Where, unfortunately, for masculinity, we think of the stereotypical thing where it's much more abrasive, forceful. To be affectionate typically requires you to pull back.
or pull forward and hug them.
Yeah. Which is still, that's not pulling forward. You might pull them more towards you versus pulling yourself forward. Yeah.
It was completely one-sided. When I was assigned to the Imperial City again, I was miserable.
High anime was definitely better.
This truly is my cursed marriage.
Yes. We cannot get through any of these days without them doing exactly what we wanted to do. We try, but we'll get it. We'll definitely get it.
And we were so close. 17 minutes.
Yeah, we're pretty close to the end. This is why we tell people it's a hangout session, right? It's not a finished, polished production. At some point, it will be.
Yep.
But we're building that direction.
Bob the Builder, we can build it.
Can you fix it?
Not yet.
We're trying. I think we're much better than we were in the first one. You guys can tell us if you agree or not. I think it's great. And we've come quite a long way. We will kind of enjoy having the
I'm with you.
the
Subtitles?
Yeah.
It
Even though they don't
helps.
always match, but it helps.
I mean, they match for the most part of it and helps us catch things that we weren't always sure.
Yeah. And I think we're a little too far forward for this one.
I was miserable. Returning to a place with a man I once loved and people who don't think well of me. But then I met you, Miyo. I did feel uneasy at first, but as I spent time with you, I came to like you.
How long have they been together?
Even when others talked behind my back.
Golden question.
If I just remembered the kindness you showed me,
Like a few days at most?
I could make it through.
Miyo and Kaoruko.
Yeah.
And yet, in spite
Yeah.
of that, somewhere in my heart,
But it's not like the length of time you're together is realistically the quality.
I know.
Sometimes all it takes is a brief moment or a genuine interaction that can completely change your life. Especially when she said she came back and she was miserable.
Yeah.
I was recently on a call that somebody that Andreas suggested to me to talk to, and I was just giving them just like normal advice, and I thought it was like information that was like I knew it wasn't common information, but it was just information that was just like to me I take for granted because now I know having experiences that I had. And he shot me this text message where he was just like, "Thank you so much for taking time out of your day." He's like, "You've already impacted my life in such a way that you won't even imagine." He's like, "The information you gave blew my mind." He's like, "I'm so thankful to have you in my life. I can't wait to give you updates on my next steps and then my journey and my success, my inevitable success." And so like that was just an hour-long conversation, and to him he thought that was life-changing.
So what was the conversation about?
Transitioning from his job in engineering to pursuing medicine.
Oh, I see.
So the difference, like cultural norms in medicine, the things, expectations, the work required, the backgrounds. We both have very similar backgrounds, both coming from like single parent households, raised with people who've been in the streets, going to be the first in our family to go to college, and all those different things, and like those expectations and some of the things you mentally carry forward with you, and trying to figure out how do you take those things and not use those as anchors, but use those as sales we can use to kind of make us stand apart and then be better at what other people are typically doing in those spaces. I think the most thing I tried to emphasize for him was the focus on like positivity, because his thought process was like, oh yeah, but we're in a world, we see all the stuff that's happening, there's so much prejudice, there's so much all these different things, like yeah, those things are going to happen, and those are things we can't control. All we can control are the things that are within our actions. We can control how we represent ourselves, we can control how we answer questions, we can control how we do the things that we do. We just make sure we do it great. And then the fact is, we just focus on excellence. If we're always excellent, it doesn't matter. You might not get everything you want, but at least you'll give yourself the best chance you can get. And it's like, yeah, that's right. Focusing on the things I can focus on, and just the idea of just being positive, where if I don't focus on those negativity things, if people bring them up, you know it's a them thing, not you.
And then you punch them.
No, that's assault and you'll go to jail. They're usually not worth your freedom. Only time they're worth your freedom if they're assaulting someone who's important to you, then it might be worth like crashing all the way out. But for the most part, I don't promote crash outs unless it's on TV.
Unless it's on TV.
Yes, because then I want to be entertained. You can crash all the way out and I'll just laugh at you. But for people that I have expectations for and I know they can go very far, no crash outs under any circumstances, unless, that's not under any circumstances, no crash outs for most circumstances, unless your family is at risk. That also includes like close friends and things like that. Outside of that, no crash outs. You just figure out how to let other people crash out on their own. And you just watch the carnage.
And laugh.
Yes. So I think it's not, going back to this, it's not about the time spent. It's usually the quality and the impact. So I think some people can have the power just to impact people just in a single word. Or a single conversation. And this kind of like also draws people to medicine too, because sometimes you're meeting people at their lowest point. And even though you know that their situation won't get better, sometimes just having a person that's talking to them and being real with them and being honest with them for the first time, but try to make sure those last moments or last hours or last days or last few months are comfortable, are genuine, are sincere. You can see those people saying it makes a difference, especially for ending life. So I think people think about saying, oh, if I don't know this person for 5+ years, how do you really know a person? I'm like, it's up to you. It depends on how much you want to really dig into that person, and you know what their baseline values are and how they are. It doesn't really take that much to really get to know a person and have a person impact you. Because people can definitely negatively impact you very quickly. All it takes is a little shank. You can have a very negative impact in 30 seconds. So the same way how you can be negatively impacted in like a few seconds, I think the same thing can be on the positive side too. So yeah, but hopefully there's no shanking in this episode.
I mean, given the grotesqueries, it's not a 0% chance.
It's not a 0% chance, but hopefully there's no shanking in this episode. I would prefer more of a heartfelt episode with this, and wrapping this up with a good friendship. Then we can go shanking into the next episode.
Preferably the other people.
Yeah, it's preferably the other people. Yeah, if Kudo had to crash out for Miyo, I'm like, that's fine. But he shouldn't be crashing out for nobody else.
Not even his dad?
He can crash out for his dad.
Okay. His mom?
Unfortunately, yes, he can crash out for his mom too. It is his mom. As trashy as he is, that is his mom. So he can crash out for her too. He was like, only I can call her trash. You cannot call her trash. Shake.
But I am calling her trash.
Shake. I'm not going to care because she's not my mom. So you can say whatever you want about the hoe. So yes. Those are my thoughts.
And we will see.
Even now, there's a part of me that cannot let go of how I felt about him.
Well, he's taken, so move
While
on.
my feelings are still so unsettled, your kindness and your friendship are things that I am completely undeserving of. I'm so sorry to have kept this from you.
That's a good voice actor.
Turn around and look.
She had snot coming in at all. So like she was really crying.
I would hate it.
Is she wearing socks?
In her sandals, yes.
Even worse than
Whenever I do that, Jada gets mad at me.
couldn't be friends at all. I don't think romantic love is of a higher value.
Thank you,
Love
Moto.
between friends.
Mio.
Yes!
You were the first female friend I've had in my whole life. You were so precious to me.
I guess Hazuki counts as family.
Mm-hmm. That's her sister.
Am I truly worthy enough to be your first female friend?
Yes.
Of course you're worthy enough.
Aww.
Miyo, my friend.
Now throw hands for me.
From now on,
She will. Kaoruko will definitely throw hands for her. I have no doubt.
I want to hear it.
Miyo doesn't need to fight. Because people will fight for her.
That's true strength right there. This is why I think people don't recognize how OP women are. They don't have to fight. They don't have to be physically strong. It's good to make sure you keep up your body. But the power of a woman is to be able to sway people with their voice.
But sometimes, I just want to see them throw hands. Huh.
The Emperor?
Oh, he's still alive.
You look, he just got kidnapped.
What has happened here? What's become of the gatekeepers?
Well, their brains are broken. So
Remember that Utsui can control senses.
Visibility.
There it is.
What did you say? His Majesty. Right now, Marata Usaba is pursuing him.
I definitely want to be texting more if that's how texts work.
Origami text.
We'll be protecting the quarters.
Come here.
As for you two,
Now.
I'll be leading.
I need fries. With ketchup. Please.
Please be careful as well, Kaoruko, and come back to us.
Like, can you stop sending one word at a time?
No.
Yes, sir.
It's like, you're killing the rainforest. Don't care. Don't care.
That would be so funny. Every single word. Great, it's just a different word. Oh,
Drowning.
that's interesting. So that's sight. That's touch.
Wait. Oh, he's screwing his mind. I thought he actually was drowning.
No, that's what I was saying. Like, that's a lot of sensations for that.
How is he not overloaded? You know he's doing this all in one night.
We've put up powerful barriers around all quarters, but we need to remain cautious.
I don't understand why they think that'll work.
Spots.
Because
Eyes in every direction.
all of you being clustered in one spot means that you're an easy target for him.
Yeah.
So that didn't really make sense.
Settle down
And also,
from your position.
he just, no one says you have to do it out of sight, though. Right? Like, his trigger doesn't have to be sight-based because he didn't see him. It just suddenly happened.
I think there's a proximity effect.
Proximity, sure, he's right here.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That, like, they're being dumb because them clustering like that makes them an easy target.
Oh, because they're
So-
proximity-wise, they're all closer to him.
Yeah, they're all closer because, like, he can get in proximity of all of them because they're all in the same spot.
Now all drown.
Yeah, so that didn't really make sense. My best bet would have just been to hide Miyo, not guard Miyo.
Mhm.
I would just send her outside of the city.
I guess they'd want to. It's almost like using her as a shield. Like if you hit one of us, you hit all of us, and if you hit all of us, you hit Mio.
Yeah,
That doesn't seem-
but his goal is to get Miyo. So the goal, like for me, logically, I'm like, that's a stupid decision. Me as a leader is understanding the weakness in terms of my opponent's power. I'm just like, if he went through and took down all the Emperor's people, I'm like, it doesn't make sense for me to cluster a whole bunch of guards. I'm like, I would want a crack team that's super fast that can just run in one direction as fast as possible with a known destination only to meet, and then we'll figure out everything else afterwards. But that makes no sense.
And you're about to be proven right.
Yes. Why is he so creepy?
Appears the gang's all here.
Cause Moon.
I wasn't expecting such a warm reception.
I also don't
Show
like this
him.
hat. No one probably has projectile magic.
Weak.
Dog.
How do they have trains with no guns?
I don't know.
Right? Huh?
I have no clue. I'll just keep it. I have no clue.
Like they have swords, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, well, sure. Shouldn't they? Especially with how modern they are and how it's so Western this is, right?
Yeah, because they have cars, so combustion engines exist. So they definitely have gunpowder
Yeah.
by now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's because they're magic. They have projectile magic users, so there's no reason really to have guns.
Bang.
Or do they have guns? Because they have those long slashes that they usually carry around with
Right?
them. Yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of questions I have. Because I'm just like, now, just where's the logic? I'm just like, me just thinking, like, just from a split second, I'm like, that makes no sense. What are you doing?
Mess with the sense of this, you casual.
Yeah. Well, until he makes you think you shot him and then he shows up and he got you, like, strung up by the throat.
I mean, that's clever, but that just means you have to shoot him without. Yes.
If I had those powers, I would just make him think that everyone around them is me and then I just have them shoot the other guards.
True.
So, that would be my... Like, if I was Usui, then I was just like, kill the rest of the guards for me.
I mean, clearly he's doing this because he knows no one can shoot him. But it would be funny if one of them had a gun anyway. It's like, random guard number C was the one that kills.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot... Yeah, that last part just really threw me off. It was just like, no one's thinking logically.
Ironically, when this show is about the emotions of the characters, it's so good.
Yes. When it comes to tactical decisions, trash.
I mean, this is My Happy Marriage, not My Happy War.
Yes, that's true. If there was that war, they'd be in a bigger problem. If they just having this much issue with one person,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get his power is OP, but there's ways to get around it. I'd just be throwing out decoys, having him go to places, and once he go to those places, use his power so much where he has to kind of go into hiding, and I just track him out.
That does remind me, is there a downside to using their powers?
For him, it is.
Which is?
They told us in the last episode that his body takes a huge toll.
Oh.
He gets into a lot of pain. He only uses powers at certain intervals.
But
so I'll
what
make
is a
sure
toll?
he can't use his powers for a few days or a few weeks.
But is it
So
a
it means
physical?
like it's the latency period.
Mhm.
So it means he's vulnerable for those latency periods. He can't use his powers like that. So I'll just make him use his powers, and when his latency periods, smoke him.
Smoke them.
Mm-hmm. Smoke the ops.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't Sakamoto days. You gotta smoke your ops. You're up there trying to commit arsony, so you might as well smoke the ops too.
I am. They're not.
Well, Kudo did commit arsony for the Saimori household.
And they
So
deserved it.
So it's not that they're not. Arsony is acceptable in the show. And applauded. So
We
they
need
just need
more
to be
arson.
tactical. They
Mhm.
just need to be tactical right now. They're not being tactical. So Miyo's definitely about to get kidnapped. Because they already kidnapped the Emperor. I don't know what he's planning to do to Miyo. Hopefully it's nothing crazy.
Hopefully it's nothing too creepy. Because knowing this show,
Yeah. Well,
I mean, they remember to sort of cut off her hair dramatically.
yeah. But at least her hair grows back.
I know, but still, like the other problem is that we don't have a doctor that can heal things.
I hope that's not useful.
Exactly. They introduced in that episode a doctor that can heal by touching.
Oh, goodness gracious.
And what does that mean? But physical trauma can happen and be healed without changing the character model.
Now I'm having bad thoughts. And now my thoughts went to something even wilder, but I will not say. So...
That's my concern, though, that the fact that healing magic exists means damage can be worse.
Yeah. Well, we definitely know she's about to get kidnapped, because they just made her an easy target. So...
And they're all useless.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see the next episode. That was kind of crazy. I'm glad that her friend is actually a real friend. We're hoping that she wasn't trying to set her up, but she's a genuine friend. We know that for sure. I guess the little suspicion came from the fact that she was probably once Kudo's fiance to be, but that's nothing big.
To her, it is.
Well, to both of them it was, but it's nothing like where we thought where she would end up being like the stepmother or her sister, her half sister. So she's a good person.
Yeah,
that's all that matters. I'm happy for her. Hopefully she stops getting treated by trash by her coworkers.
We are now 2 out of 5 for Good Woman.
Yes. And then Kaoruko, if the dudes give you a problem, just kick them in the nuts. And they'll probably stop talking so much. They'll be screaming instead. And then whack them in the head with your sword. Just whack.
Whack them in the nuts with your sword.
Yeah.
Make it so he can now leave behind his own descendants.
Now that's might be a bit too far, but it happens. It happens.
I disagree.
Any final thoughts?
I'm just wondering, to what purpose does kidnapping the Emperor do? Because the one having the power right now is the son. Like,
yeah, I saw that. Because you're like, is that the Emperor? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, but obviously he's being kidnapped because his mouth is covered. He actually looks pretty much dead,
right? Like,
but he looked dead when he was in his in last season when he was in his chambers anyway. Dude's pretty much about to expire.
Yeah, he was like. I guess they took the Emperor because he's less guarded than the Prince, but that doesn't make sense. Like, you would think, with how Japan is, that the Emperor, especially with how he's so close to death, would be even heavier guarded.
Well, it wasn't like he was less guarded. When he went out there and saw all the guards on the ground just kind of passed out and foaming at the mouth, he wasn't lightly guarded.
Then why not take the Prince instead?
Maybe the Prince wasn't physically there.
Maybe. Just like
that's my best thought. But yeah, I don't understand why they're trying to kidnap the Emperor. I don't know what their plan is, what their goal is. Because they're trying to get the Emperor and Miyo in one fell swoop. So definitely these are the cultists.
Alright, he's probably one of the cultists then. Could maybe they want to turn the Emperor into a grotesquerie?
Do we have... Well, they've been turning people into demons. I don't know what that would do. Turning him into a demon.
But it maybe fix his health. And maybe give him the power to be a threat once more.
But then it's about the Emperor being in on the thing. But be in on the plan, but obviously kidnap him.
Unless it warps his mind.
But they didn't have to kidnap him then. If he had him mentally under the idea, he could have just said, I'm leaving. And
but when they're transformed, they almost go into a rampage.
Yeah.
So it's like, once you do it, they go into a rampage. They change their personality, but they're just stuck like that. Unless they can revert back.
Which
doesn't seem impossible.
Well, when they defeat them...
They revert back. That's why,
That's how they were able to find the contaminated blood.
Yeah, so ontologically, they can turn into the demon and turn out of the demon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what the ultimate plan is not made clear to me. And right now, all I know is that the tactical response to this is trash. Even if I don't know what their goals are, they wouldn't be able to get what they want.
Mm-hmm.
They probably would still got the Emperor because I wouldn't have cared, but they definitely would have got Miyo.
Run, Miyo, run.
You know Miyo don't run well.
Probably not.
Running is not her strength. Especially with her wearing all those kimonos. That's even worse.
Mm-hmm.
She'd have to do the little stereotypical...
Don't ruin the kimono.
Kudo's rich. You can buy more.
Still, don't ruin your clothes.
Kudo's rich. You can buy more.
Don't ruin your clothes.
Safety is better than ruining your clothes.
Okay, fair.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to figure that out. I'm pretty sure they're gonna suss this out. But I thought the Emperor was going to fade into obscurity after season 1, and the Prince became more important. I didn't think we were going to hear from him anymore. Period.
And I thought when the fire exploded, he died.
Oh yeah.
Usually a fireball means death.
Well, not if you're royalty. Yeah, make sure
Being
you
rich does
yeah,
not make you fireproof.
Well, I'm not talking about his riches as royalty. I'm just talking about his power and influence as royalty.
Even if you're wealthy, you still are not fireproof.
I think you're misconstruing wealth and power.
Maybe.
But yeah, because like I said, the wealth part doesn't have anything to do with it. I just think that he has people to die for him.
But you saw him be consumed by the fireball.
Oh yeah, when you figure out because he was the one who was like leading all those different grotesque creatures through.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, he literally got hit by a fireball.
Yeah. My brain's like now I'm just remembering exactly what you're referencing. I'm like, yeah. Oh, must have been a great healer. Like Dr. Una.
I guess.
Healed those third-degree burns. Yeah, that's true.
Now you see my point.
Yeah, now I see your point. All I can say is Dr. Unan's a good doctor.
Probably. That's honestly probably what happened. He got third-degree burns, and the doctor healed him.
Mm-hmm.
Good on the old man for surviving that long, though.
Yeah. Well, he's probably tied to his mission, his goal. He wants to keep power forever. It's like all crazy powerful people want to rule forever, which to me doesn't sound fun at all. I don't understand. But that's
Immortality.
I don't like that. Well, as the world stands, immortality in its current state does not sound enticing. Even if I was the richest man in the world, I still wouldn't want to stay in this world as it is.
Even if he never got sick again.
Even if I never got sick. Because I don't even consider being sick as a terrible thing in the world. For me, at least. When I get sick, I'm like, I'm sick. And then I get better. It's more so human desires for evil that makes me not want to stay here. Because ultimately, as long as we have free will, the will to kill, to pillage, to plunder, to usurp, to mistreat,
To slurp.
yeah, will always be there. So as long as humans are here doing the things that humans do, yeah, the idea of being immortal, I think, will be too much of an emotional toll.
Fair enough. Want to close this out?
Sure, but yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed our rants and our rambles and hanging out with us. Hopefully this actually really works because to actually get a My Happy Marriage recording on the first shot, it's very difficult. But as always, follow, like, comment, and subscribe down below. Follow us on the Patreon if you'd like to support us, and hang out with us next time.
Thank you so much for watching.
Later.
Wale.